This is a two-part video, and if you haven't watched the first part, I highly recommend it so you can follow along. There will be a link in the description for it. With that out of the way, let's get straight into it. With the defeat of having to kill Salazar with a rocket launcher still looming over me, I looted the rest of the arena and made my way to the lowest portion of the castle exterior. Ada was waiting there for me, and we can finally make our way to the island portion of the game. Now, this is my least favorite part of the game, and that's largely due to the change in atmosphere the game takes. Also, it's just really hard sometimes. Leon makes some pretty good one-liners here, and I think Lord Sadler actually likes them.
Sadler, you're small time.
Oh.
I had a game plan already set for how I was going to get past this part without pulling my hair out. I already got this far on my professional run, and the plan was to do a little glitch to just entirely skip having to fight the minigun guy and his cohorts. The reason I did the glitch is that there was no way I was going to be able to kill the minigun guy, and since I wasn't going to be able to kill him, he was just going to keep shooting at me as I tried solving the puzzle to continue to the next area. If you think it violates the already violated challenge, let me know in the comments. So this glitch is actually pretty easy to do. You just activate the dimming glitch and run into the corner of this wall. Then, you turn your character model a bit to the right so he's perpendicular to the wall. Then you take a few steps back and press the jump up button, and voila, you've gotten out of bounds. Now we have to navigate the out of bounds area, which is also easy. Just go between this area that has a dip and go to the left of this hanging thing, and you'll be prompted to do a quick time event, and that'll bring you in bounds past the minigun guy and the puzzle. I did kill these soldier guys, which will sadly be a rare occurrence, as I'm going to need my ammo for the array of bosses I have to fight in this part of the game. Moving on to the next room, I manipulated the game to get a critical hit on this guy for some reason. Then I think about going into the caves for some treasure, but decided against it because I don't like getting hit with stun rods. There was a guy with a rocket launcher, which I killed because I didn't want my insides to become outsides. Then we meet up with the merchant, and now's a good time to mention that my handgun has been fully maxed out for a few chapters now. Its special upgrade is a 5 times critical shot multiplier, which will make killing enemies that much easier. The next area has a very small number of enemies, and I dispatched them for fun. This guy was in the furnace. Now, these dudes start to show up. They're heavily armored, and they take a lot of work to kill. After I kill the first one, I head downstairs and immediately go back up because there's another one of them, and then a cutscene plays where Ashley is shown being held hostage, and we move on to the next room. I stop at the merchant and pick up the tactical vest for extra protection. Then I dip in my way into the shutter so I don't have to waste my ammo. Once inside, I just run away from them all, especially since when you enter the shutter before you're supposed to, a bunch of crossbow guys spawn in. This hallway is creepy, and it only gets worse the longer we're playing. I enter what appears to be a medical lab and grab a keycard for the freezer. This activates the newest enemy on their front lines. Ugh. So, for the most part, I hate regenerators. Like, I really hate regenerators. They make horrible noises, and they move in really strange, weird ways. I also know full well that I can't kill this one, or at least I shouldn't kill it. I probably had enough ammo to, but it would have made my life hell at a very specific part coming up. I just run past this one since I don't actually have to kill it. In the hallway though, there are at least 2 more regenerators on my way to the freezer. But as hard as they are to kill, they're also incredibly easy to dodge. In the freezer, I get the chance to make my keycard into the garbage room keycard. Now, what you're supposed to do in this room is grab the infrared scope and put it on the rifle and fight a regenerator for real. But since I don't have a rifle, I just leave and I don't have to fight the regenerator. And I can't actually believe that they don't make you take the scope. It's fucking hilarious. Off to the garbage room. Here we are presented with 2 options. Kill these guys the normal boring way, or play Skill Crane. I chose the latter because I knew that my skills would net me the prize. I'm just gonna ignore that miss. This next room doesn't pose a threat right now, but it does later. Another set of hallways, and we're next to the room where Ashley is being held captive. Since I don't have the key to open the door, I ignore these fine gentlemen and push towards a room that I'm not very fond of. It just has too many different types of these guys. A flail guy, a stun rod guy, a shield guy. I hate this room. But it'll definitely help me to kill them now rather than later. Hitting them with the door does take out some pent-up aggression though. Okay. Now, we actually have to fight a regenerator. Except, it's not a normal regenerator, it's an Iron Maiden variant that has a crap ton of spikes sticking out of it. There was no way I was killing this thing with my pistol. Even with all the ammo I had, I needed to save it for the part that I got stuck on in my professional run. So now I have to knife it, which can be pretty hard to get going, but once you have it down, it usually stays down. Just watch out for the spikes. Now that we have the key to Ashley's cell, we have to go all the way back to use it. Oh look, that room I said I hated filled back up with enemies. Yay. Once I'm back by Ashley, I have to kill these guys. Or do I? With the enemies dodged, I save Ashley and move on to the next chapter. Let's start this chapter off right, by dodging a large group of enemies because I need all of my ammo for this next room. This goddamn room. This is the room that ended my professional run of this challenge. Let's pull up some footage. I had no ammo, and I had no healing items. I had to press this switch while not getting Ashley or myself killed. I never found a solution to that, so here we are, playing the game on normal and stuff. The change from professional to normal made this room a lot easier, but I still ended the room with only 4 bullets to my name. Now Leon decides to jump into the garbage chute for some reason, and we land right next to an Iron Maiden. Good thing it's dead, right? Right? Oh crap, it's not. I spend a few minutes trying to kill this thing, but while I'm doing that, Ashley gets killed by the spikes. The next time around, I just lock it in its cell and let it rot. Too bad there's another one. This was a painstakingly long, drawn-out fight. I knocked him down once, but he got back up before I could get him stuck in a knife loop. He eventually died from all the knife hits I landed anyway, but I wasted a huge chunk of my healing items too. Now Ashley and I could push this box and get out of here. The next area was a little weird. I think my constant damage from the Iron Maidens made the difficulty break for a second, because this guy just didn't want to attack me. I killed him and went to the wrecking ball room. I had no ammo, and this part had many enemies that wanted me dead. I didn't really get the chance to do much as Ashley died quite fast. By me. I stabbed her. The next try was a little better. I got some ammo and was able to protect myself until the wrecking ball landed its final hit in the wall, revealing the doorway. Ugh. This hallway had 2 regenerators in it, and while they were only normal regenerators, they still posed a threat. Mainly to Ashley. I had no ammo still, and all I could do was knife them. I couldn't even get them stuck in a knife loop, I just had to take damage from them and then hope a knife blow would break their leg off. Hint, it didn't. I tried to bring this regenerator into this room because they're slow and that would have given us the time to open the door, but what I didn't realize is that regenerators can also move fast. That's just not right. Much effort later, they were both knifed to death, and my healing supplies were dwindling. I went to the merchant and sold and rebought my handgun for some ammo. Now comes the incredibly fun part of letting Ashley drive a bulldozer while Leon has to kill hordes of enemies. Also trucks, and if I don't save my ammo for the trucks, I lose. I really thought this part would be harder, but the knife worked pretty well on them. Probably because of all the damage I took from the regenerators screwing up the difficulty again. We eventually crashed into a wall, and we're both perfectly fine, of course. Saddler waits in the next room and gives Leon horrible indigestion, and kidnaps Ashley again. We just got her back last chapter, damn it. Right at the beginning of this segment, there's a cutscene with Ada and Krauser, who I forgot to mention in the last video, talking about some important stuff. Now all I have to do is take a small romp through this room and meet up with Krauser, which initiates one of my favorite interactive cutscenes in the game. It's just a really kick-ass knife fight where Krauser tells Leon he's the one who kidnapped Ashley, and Leon gets salty. Krauser does get the upper hand and almost kills Leon, but Ada steps in and saves him. We get into a FaceTime call with Saddler, and I think this is my favorite one-liner yet.
Since you're here, why don't I introduce you to it? It should keep you busy.
Can't remember the name, huh? A senior moment, perhaps.
Oh, that's definitely a good one. The it creature Saddler was referring to was not a scary clown, but a very large creature that I literally have no analogy for. Guess that's why they call it it. It knocks us into some hanging cell rooms, and now we have to start hitting switches to open the doors. It's not an incredibly hard task, but what I failed to remember is that I can't knife all of the buttons that open the doors, and there is no handgun ammo in the whole place. Oof. Now I have to restart the whole sequence again, but before that, I sell and buy back my pistol for what I believe is the last time. Making quick work of the hanging cell area, Leon jumps from the last one to the safety of a hook. Great job, Leon. Oh wait, we still have to actually fight it, don't we? I, surprise surprise, don't have the ammo to kill this thing. I take a $5 and I watch a tutorial on how to knife this thing to death, and it actually works pretty well. When he changes into his second form is when it gets harder. Now he does this stupid attack where he claws at you 3 times, and he can also go underground. This didn't stop me, as I just waited for him to resurface to kill him. I'm just now realizing that this challenge has become more of a knife-only rather than a pistol-only challenge, but they seriously don't give you the ammo for these fights. After it's dead, our next stop is a small army camp full of soldiers. A few shots to a flammable can lends me most of the kills. Now we have an incredibly short walk to the next boss fight, Krauser. One thing to note about Krauser is that he takes way more damage from a knife than he does a bullet, and I remember times when I still couldn't kill him with a full arsenal of weapons and ammo at my disposal. So you know what that means, I'm gonna knife him to death. First, we run past his hail of fire into the small room here. I activate the Ditman glitch and wait for Krauser to come in and attack. He's not too bad to attack, but sometimes he does this attack, and that makes you go into a quick time event, and those can be pretty hard if you're not fast enough. Now, the point of this battle is to find the 3 emblems and take them to the door to open it. 2 are easily accessible, and 1 is held by Krauser. I walk along for a bit, one time almost getting my throat slit by Krauser, and make my way up a tower to find the first piece. More fighting with Krauser ensues, but he is no match for my blade. Now I have to go all the way across this section of map to get to another tower and take the second emblem. Now the real fight starts. Krauser shows off his true power and starts a 3-minute timer for the explosion of the tower. He attempts to attack us, and succeeds many times in almost knocking us off the edge, but we get back up every time. What I'm trying to do during this fight is to get into the Ditman glitch and get him in a knife loop so he can't move. In the end, I just knifed him enough times without really getting the knife loop, which was fine by me. Now I take the last emblem and run down to the door to open it. We're getting really close to the end here, folks. This next segment sucks. It's incredibly action-packed and full of way too many enemies. I'm pretty glad that I didn't make it here on Professional, because when Vinny and I played this game for the channel, I practically lost my mind during this part. The only real difference of this part is that on Normal, Mike, the helicopter pilot, will actually help you kill everyone. I run past practically everyone while I let Mike cover me. There's a Gatling gun and a locked door to boot. Do you know what's on the other end of this locked door? A bigger locked door. Mike made short work of most of the turrets, which made my job a lot easier. All I had to do was push these 2 buttons and the door would open. Guess what it leads to? Another room filled with way too many people. Though this room is marginally better. All I have to do is get the keycard from the guy and activate all of the switches to open the door. That's not how it went for me, though. I lost track of this guy and I had no idea where he was. Because of that, I had to start the segment over, and I made sure to kill him as soon as he took the keycard. With the doors open, I go through and see Ashley and Saddler. Saddler does his whole hand magic trick on Leon, but Ada comes to the rescue and shoots the absolute crap out of Saddler. That buys Leon the time to save Ashley and take her to the next room, which just so happens to have the machine to remove the almost adult Plaga from the body. Now we can take on the last boss, Lord Saddler. This fight. Oh, this fight. I came prepared for it. I had the ammo, and I had the healing items. Saddler changes into his grotesque form, and I start shooting away. I have to hit the eyeballs on his legs or in his mouth to stun him. This gives me the chance to do an action attack where I jump on him and stab his eye. I did this over, and over, and over, and over again. Ada eventually threw me the special rocket launcher that I was supposed to use to kill him, but I just kept shooting and stabbing. Sometimes I would shoot the eyeball twice and then stab it. It took me a while, but I eventually killed Lord Saddler without the rocket launcher. Now, Ada sets off a bomb to explode the island and throws Leon the key to a jet ski so he and Ashley can escape. And escape they did. So no, I cannot beat Resident Evil 4 with just the handgun. I honestly don't think anyone could do it without the use of a knife or action attack. They just don't give you enough ammo for the boss fights. This challenge was a disaster, from having to start the whole game over to killing Salazar with a rocket launcher. I might try this again a long time from now and see if I could do it better, but for now I'm definitely good. If you enjoyed today's video, think about subscribing and giving it a like. That stuff really helps me out. Also, check out some of the other challenge videos I've made. You might like them. And until next time, stay safe out there, and peace out.